I have a lot of people, especially my real estate agents, they think that because they're a real estate agent and their licensing is in their name, that they can't have a business. They think
Uh-huh.
that they can't have a business account. And that's where I, dig into it in more detail in the book. But, let's say that your licensing is to, like, my name is Kurt Crandall, well, if I'm a certified, financial fiduciary, it's to me personally, but there's nothing stopping you from becoming Kurt Crandall LLC.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Kristen, and I'm here with Kurt Crandall. Kurt has been starting companies since the 1980s and is still an active entrepreneur. As the vice president of funding of AFG, a firm specializing in merchant lending, he helps business owners access the capital their company requires. His new book, How Merchant Money Works, is out on Amazon and Apple Books now, and he's teaching people how to unlock the mysteries of merchant banking. Thank you for being here, Kurt.
My pleasure, Kristen. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Well, tell us a little bit about your background and how you have gotten started in this industry.
I started in the financial industry, unfortunately, back doing mortgages. My cousin owned a mortgage firm in Michigan. And after taking that position, I very quickly saw the writing on the wall of what it is they were doing. And I told him, I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't be a part of this. Like, and then obviously the collapse happened. And, I had friends making a ton of money, but my integrity needs to remain intact. So I literally refused to be a part of the bubble that crippled the nation.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you got started in kind of this line of work, merchant lending.
That's a long pathway down. This has been a very, very specific development. I knew this is what I wanted to do. And so I just went back to college, finished up my bachelor's degree, and then actively pursued this industry until I found a person that was willing to kind of let me in. It's a tough nut to crack, but once you're in, you're on the right path. So
Amazing. And what about this kind of drew you to it?
I started another company recently. It was a pest control company here in Florida, my partner and I. And, once I started trying to get my hands on capital for the business, I started realizing kind of the way this weird world of merchant lending worked. And,
Hmm.
it was like, it made me want to help. It made me want to make it available to people that are doing a good job, making good money. They just maybe have not the greatest personal credit, and those of us that own everything we have free and clear, we don't have personal credit because we don't borrow money to buy stuff. We just own it. So
Yeah.
it's a way to develop credit for a company. And we already know, like, the best way to get ahead is with other people's money. And if it's a business investment that you're borrowing, that's substantially different, than a personal toy or item.
Definitely. And then what makes AFG different? Explain a little bit about what you guys do and what makes you unique.
The first company that I went into when I was looking at options for this, I spent a day with them just to kind of shadow and see what I thought. And it was very much the Wolf of Wall Street mentality, old Jordan Belfort, not how he is now. He's substantially better, cocaine on the tables, I mean, it was wild. I mean, it was literally like, and they would openly brag about the fact that, they purposely get people into these crappy loans, and then they get them another crappy loan and then another crappy loan, only to then try to get them to refinance, which isn't technically a real refinance. It's another crappy loan supposedly packaged to try to fix the other crappy loans, but it's just a lot of bad people doing bad stuff, and I don't respect that. The guys that I'm with now, it's a boutique, if you will, very tight knit crew, just good people, good energy. Like they'll be the first ones to say, hey, this doesn't make sense for you. Do we make money if you get it? Sure, but it doesn't make sense for you.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that probably builds a lot of trust with your clients and some repeat business as well.
It could, but really, that would be almost like we're doing it with that motivation.
Yeah.
Our goal is to make it where people don't need to borrow money. Our goal is to get it where they've got lines of credit to where it's available if they do need it. But, we
Mhm.
really there's times we wind up more like therapists or, counselors or coaches even, like I've done so much and owned so many different businesses over the years that when I talk to a client that's trying to do a business that I was very successful at, it's fun to get to help them, and if we make money too, then cool. But, if you love people and do your best for them, the money comes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a great mentality to have. And what are some mistakes that you see when people are trying to access capital? I'm sure you see the same stuff over and over.
Well, the first thing that happens is that people are so convinced that they aren't going to qualify that they call in with these attitudes that it makes it a little hard to help. I
Mm.
mean, they say that a mind is like a parachute; it only works when it's open. And they're so convinced that they just can't get it, and their outlook is so negative. And those that are like in a good position mentally and emotionally, we can have a great conversation. We can dig into the facts of what it is they're doing, what are they trying to do, and one thing that we talked about before we got on camera was that I have a lot of people, especially my real estate agents, they think that because they're a real estate agent and their licensing is in their name, that they can't have a business. They think
Uh-huh.
that they can't have a business account. And that's where I, dig into it in more detail in the book. But, let's say that your licensing is to, like, my name is Kurt Crandall. Well, if I'm a certified financial fiduciary, it's to me personally, but there's nothing stopping you from becoming Kurt Crandall LLC, which you wouldn't want to have to answer the phone. Hey, this is Kurt Crandall LLC. How can I help you? So then you just simply file a DBA, doing business as your own name, Kurt Crandall, and then you can actually open a bank account in your name, Kurt Crandall, but then it's a business account. So then merchant lenders can now give you capital based on revenue that you're making already. You're just flowing it in a different route to where you then now unlock a whole world of financing that's extremely valuable to have.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's a good tip. I think a lot of people get in their own way and say no before someone else can. What are some
Mm.
of the requirements? I'm sure a lot of people don't think they have, the best credit score or whatever it is. What are some of those misconceptions?
Some of the misconceptions are that because they're applying, that means it's going to hurt them because they're going to get all these hits. We're a brokerage firm. We have dozens of partners that just different products, different capabilities and offerings. They don't do a hard credit pull because it's a merchant bank. They
Uh-huh.
they can't they can't give money to private individuals. It's got to go to a business. And so it's no different than getting car insurance. They're going to check your credit when you get car insurance, and they base your rates based on how good your credit is because that says a lot about you as a person. And people don't believe me. They're terrified that it's going to just ding their credit, and it doesn't work like that. And if you have a shady or a guy that's not doing what he says he's going to do, they're like, well, I got a hard hit on my credit. And it's, well, then you didn't talk to a real merchant lender. I don't know what he's doing for lending, but that's not what I'm doing then.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So that's one concern, is they're afraid that it's going to pull, it's going to do a hard hit, it's going to hurt their credit. For us, it really is simply, how much revenue does your company make? These organizations, they want you to win. Another huge one that terrifies people is if I'm dealing with somebody that has a 600 credit score, maybe it's a 601, and they meet a minimum, with some of my top tier options, but they still want them to do a daily payment. Well, why would you have a daily payment? Well, because this isn't a deal where you've got a 30% APR. It literally works on a set payback. So let's say they're going to give you like a starter offer of like $10,000 to just kind of see how you do with it. Your payback might be 13K. Okay, well, that's a 30% interest rate. Okay, but it's a fixed set 30%, meaning at the end of that, you might have $100 a day payment that's only during business hours, like literally Monday through Friday. Okay, no holidays, no weekends. And they're doing that because it's like they want to make sure you can afford it. They look at how much is in your bank account on average. If they're going to give you a $100 a payment, they want to make sure you're at least carrying $1,000 per day on average, that your balance never really goes below that. And it gives a lot of flexibility because, like, for example, if I was doing mortgages and I have a guy that wants to buy $100,000 property, he's going to have an 8% rate, right? Or whatever it is. And then the APR winds up being, you do the math at the end of it, right? He had a 30-year fixed loan. And at the end of 30 years, he wound up paying back $300,000. Well, people are like, well, I just still want a long-term payment. I want a monthly long-term payment. And it's like, yeah, but these guys don't want to bet on you for the long haul. They don't want to wait for amortization. They want their money fast so that you have the highest probability of winning. And it winds up actually costing you the least amount, but they can't trust you with a big amount if they can't, see how you do with a little amount.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of sense. And it seems like you really kind of work one on one with people for their specific situation and kind of figure out a solution.
Yep. And that's a lot of what happens too. You get people that have like a 525 personal credit score, and the banks are still willing to give them money because they're making $20,000, $30,000 a month overall revenue for their business. But they maybe only will give them $5,000 just to see, like, oh, how do they do? Like, pay us back $5,000 over the next 3 months. It'll be like 60 days blank per day. And they're like, well, I don't want a daily payment. And it's like, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, you had 2 days last month, your account was in the negative. And they're like, well, yeah, but if they're charging my account, then it's going to make it more in the negative. No, that's not how they do this. They're already getting a set payback, so they don't care really how long it takes. It's not going to automatically default if you missed a day. It literally just tacks on more. Like, literally it just rolls over. Like, it doesn't, there's no penalty, there's no issue, like, it's the least amount of stress you can possibly have with a loan, because they want to see you win. They want to loan you more money down
Wow.
the road, and then you get the reward at the end, like the golden ticket, right? From Charlie, whatever, the movie back in the day.
Mhm.
At the end, you get this letter that says, yeah, I did good, I paid off my loan. And once you have that, I can show that on your behalf to other lenders, and they'll literally go, oh crap, cool, they've already done this and they did it right, they paid it off. Okay, yeah, like, how much did they do? Sure, we'll give them this much more. And they ramp up to where they can really start accessing lots of capital. Like, I mean, there's millions of dollars of money sitting available for people that they're just waiting to give out for people they could trust with it.
Right. Absolutely. And what about somebody who maybe didn't get great advice on taking out a loan? Maybe it was something bit off more than they could chew and defaulted on it. How does someone recover from that?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Not easily.
Mhm.
If it was a business loan, if let's say they worked with me, just for example, maybe I give them the best advice in the world, and they had a decent payment, but they just didn't take it seriously, or they said, you know what, I'm not going to bother with this, and they shut down their account. Right? They shut down the account that this was all tied to, and then they just go open a fresh bank account and they kind of just walk away. Well, that's going to red flag, black flag, whatever color flag you want to call it in the industry. Like you got to take this very seriously. You've got to be responsible. You've got to see it out. If you did have somebody that took advantage of you, I've got partners that are credit repair guys. I've got partners that, I mean, there's people in our network that can help you fix almost anything that you've encountered. Other guys won't take the time to do that because I don't actually get paid for working through that. But here's the reality. I want to see you win. I want to see you get a line of credit. I want you to get, you know, something that's going to be in your corner forever, literally forever. Whenever you need money, you just go pull out what you need, you do what you got to do, you pay it back with phenomenal terms at ridiculously low rates, and everybody's happy, everybody wins.
Mhm. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And before you were kind of mentioning maybe some lenders that are a little bit more predatory, don't really give the right information. What should people
Mhm.
look out for when they're choosing someone to work with?
They should just work with me.
Yeah. Easy.
I'm serious. Like, our firm is growing to the point, I don't care who you have on this show or who watches it or finds my book, they can literally reach out. My Instagram is literally at what is it? Merchant money man. Like, literally reach out, find, let me know, and we will put you in contact with somebody that can help you. Like, don't just take it for risk. Don't just go to Google. Like, there's, if you're watching this and you want help, let us know and we will help you. I don't care where you are. I've got a guy right now that is in where the heck is he's in Colombia. We're literally helping him fund a project, a real estate investment project in Colombia, but he's got to tie it to his US bank account. That's all. You got to have revenue going into a US bank account that's verifiable at a US bank, and we can still help you. Like, there's, yeah, if I can't help you, then you're needed to look for a different type of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you see other people kind of offering things that are just too good to be true, just to kind of reel people
Oh
in?
yeah, that's the one I was talking about that was the cocaine cowboys. They would outright lie, like literally, like they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put you in for an SBA loan." You know, everybody knows about that. Everybody's been talking about them. They have no idea how hard that actually is to get those. It's not impossible. People get them for sure, but I've personally gone after them for different businesses I was looking at buying, and the stipulations exist. Like, there's, you know, it takes time, and a lot of people, when they're in a spot, they want to make a move on things. It needs to happen fast. You know, a lot of those just are not fast. But these guys will lie and say, "Oh, I'm going to get you this. I'm going to do that for you. You know, here, take this loan for now to kind of tide you over," only to then put you in a situation where they're not taking you down the right path, like at all. It's like Pinocchio being led by the creepy guy.
Yeah, I bet that happens a lot.
Unfortunately, I bet it probably does too. Yeah. So we partner with Lending Tree. We get a lot of business from Lending Tree. We've got other online people that are just, I mean, literally, like, if you go to Forbes, Forbes does a really good job keeping track on that. Every
Yeah.
one of the people they mention is one of my partners. Like, I literally just send their articles to people so they can do their research. Even in my book, I end up citing a lot of sources that are tied to the Forbes articles that they put out about it. So,
Yeah. And let's talk about your book a little bit. What led you to writing this?
I've I've done other television shows and other different things that I've been featured on. Basically, when it's like I wind up saying the same thing to people over and over and over, it's like, you know what? Like, I want to help you, but like, I'm doing millions of dollars a day in funding. I literally can't sit here and explain this entire concept to you. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't qualify. I want to help you. Here, you know, go to this podcast. Here, go to this book. Like, you know, duplicate yourself, right? Like, make it where you're more accessible. Then they can put that book in other people's hands. They can literally, I don't just want a referral. Like, sure, I'll help your mom, I'll help your cousin, I'll help your aunt, you know, my whole team. Like, we're growing so fast. We probably are one of the fastest growing brokerages in the nation in
Wow.
this industry because we do such a good job, you know.
Yeah.
But I wanted to where they come to the plate like prepared, excited, ready. They've taken the next 3-4 months. Most of my lenders, you have to have 3 months of good bank statements, minimum. There's one that'll do like 2, but you don't really probably want to even try there. I recommend it really 4. Some states it's legally you have to have 4. So they're ready. They know what they need. They know what they're doing. They're not putting themselves in a situation where they're like drowning and they're hoping this is their freaking donut, their little lifesaver that I'm throwing out to them. They're making business decisions that are smart. They want to make moves that are like the big boys, and the big boys have lines of credit. They have access to capital, and when they see a thing that pops up, they're not scared because they know they've got that piece, that assuredness, that confidence, that they can do the things that they need to do to make these things happen.
Definitely. And do you suggest that people have a certain type of like preparation before they're, talking to someone like you, or do you help people through that as you start working together?
I can, but a lot of people come to me so green with business. They don't even know what an LLC is. They don't know that there's a difference between a business bank account and their personal bank account. Like they think they have a business because they set up a website. I've literally had people tell me they thought they're like, well, I'm in business. I have a website. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like this sweet little Korean lady in Koreatown in LA today, we had that conversation. Like she gave me her URL and she's like, see, I'm in business. And I'm like, that's sweet. We talked and it was a great conversation. But what I really refer people to a lot is actually the Small Business Association. I've got a place in Anchorage. I go to that one for some of my stuff up there. I've been to ones all over the nation. They're just such a good group. Like they're so smart. They're so knowledgeable. They put on free classes. They'll put you in touch with accountants and lawyers, and they'll sit you down and explain, how do you do an LLC. I would much rather people go to the SBA than like Inc Authority or these other online ones where they're just sales guys trying to just like shove something down your throat, for their own benefit, that you don't even know what they're selling you. Like you have no idea why you should have it. The first time I did it, I ended up setting up the wrong entity for what I was trying to do. I didn't know well enough on what he was talking about. I was like, you know what, dude, just let's just do it. I didn't care. It was like $600. I'm like, whatever, dude. I don't even care at this point. And then afterwards, I was like, crap, dude, like we did the wrong thing. Like that's not what I needed. So the Small Business Association is a nationwide organization. They're phenomenal. People volunteer their time and they're smart and they're good. And they're usually tied to like a library. So you've got other access to other resources. And it's just a good group to network in, to just get to know the other business owners in your area that are like arm in arm with you, like trying to ramp up something, and they're humble and honest. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. That's really a great first step before I can even really do anything with the entity they would have helped you create.
Definitely. And that's a vetted source. So that's a really good place to refer people to. Well, this has been
Agreed.
awesome. You've given so many good practical tips for people of how to kind of move forward in this world. Tell people again where to find you and where to find your book.
KurtCrandall.com, and then Instagram is just Merchant Money Man. Like it's a little cheesy, but I was trying to think of something that would like really dive into what I do, like the niche of where we're at with that. My email personal is just KurtCrandall@gmail. Just send me an email, and it's KurtCrandell, or you can just do Merchant Money Man on Instagram. And it's probably the easiest thing. I've got some more trainings gonna be coming out. I'll be launching stuff on there, just to keep, as things are coming out, when my different lenders are putting out, not promotions per se, but there are times that these companies run out of funds, like literally run out of money. Like they loan it all out. Like they're literally like, they've got to wait and reset for the next quarter or whatever. Also, that'll be a place that I'm like offering when I see cool things are happening. Well, I'm not doing much with it right this second. I'm just ramping that up, but yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Kurt.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. I hope you got a lot of great information for your own business, some good takeaways. Definitely check out Kurt online. Definitely check out his book, and definitely check out AFG. It sounds like you guys do a lot of great business for people. So we will see you back next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.